Let's try to understand the microscopic characteristics now. So these characteristics are related to the microorganisms that may be present in water. So these microorganisms are of various types such as bacteria, protozoa, virus and fungi, etc. Among these, what you have in syllabus, the test which is there is related to bacteria, so we'll just focus on that. So bacteria are of two types, that is, first one is the pathogenic bacteria and second one is non-pathogenic or non-pathogens. So it simply means that pathogenic bacteria are the bacteria that causes diseases, whereas these diseases are very fatal such as cholera or typhoid, etc. And non-pathogenic bacteria are bacteria that does not cause any disease. It means that they are not harmful to health. Now about these bacteria, they can be classified on basis of their shape, that is, they can be of spherical shape or they can be of rod like shape or spiral or curved shape as well. Now I'm not telling the name in every shape, just this one you need to remember, this rod shaped bacteria, that is known as bacillus. So this is relevant to our further discussion. So, and these bacteria, if you want to know the definition in one line, then these are the single celled organisms and they don't have nucleus, that is, no nucleus is there and they cannot produce their own food. So now we are interested to know about the pathogenic bacteria, because these are the disease causing bacteria. So we want to find out if they are there in water or not. Now in the modern days we have tests available to obtain directly how many these pathogenic bacteria are there in water or not, but these tests are very difficult to conduct and are time taking also and complex. So due to all these reasons, these are not calculated directly. The presence of pathogen is found out indirectly. And how indirectly? We look for the presence of non-pathogenic bacteria. The reason for that is the non-pathogenic bacteria live longer than the pathogenic bacteria, and the number of bacteria, that is these non-pathogenic bacteria, are more in number. So if we can say that these non-pathogenic bacteria are not present in water, then we can easily conclude that pathogenic bacteria is also not there in water. So we try to obtain, we try to find out if this non-pathogenic bacteria is there in water or not. Now there is one particular group of these non-pathogenic bacteria that is called as coliform group, using which we do our further tests. Sometimes in engineering services they ask for the definition, some objective from the definition part of this coliform bacteria. So let's see that it is a rod shaped bacteria. So earlier we saw the different shapes and this is called as bacilli, and these are lactose fermenters with gas formation, and these are gram negative, non spore forming and non acid fast. So I can just tell you in brief what are these terms, because all are related to biology. So this lactose fermenter simply means that if you put them, lactose example is milk, so if you put them in milk they will ferment the milk and gas will evolve. Gram negative, gram positive, or this acid fast, non acid fast, these are the staining techniques. And what is a staining technique? These are the techniques to identify the bacteria depending upon which color stain they form on the filter. So depending upon that, various staining techniques are there. This gram negative, gram positive is one of those staining techniques. So gram negative means it leaves a red color stain, that is your gram negative. Non-spore forming, so some of the bacteria, if they go into adverse environment, so to fight or to survive in that adverse environment, they form spores and they go into dormant state to survive. So this is depending upon that, this is a non-spore forming bacteria. And non-acid fast, this is also a staining technique, acid fast and non-acid fast. So this is non-acid fast. So this is about the definition of the coliform group. Now in this coliform group there is a subgroup, that is fecal coliform group. And two bacteria are very common, that is E. coli, Escherichia coli, and Bacterium coli, that is B. coli. Now these bacteria, majority of which are E. coli, these are present in the colon, that is lower part of the intestine of humans as well as animals. It means that if you can find these bacteria in water, it will mean that the water has been polluted with some excreta of human or animals, that too recently, because their life is very, I mean they don't live very long. So if they are present, it means it has been recently polluted. Now these are basically the harmless, but they also indicate that some pathogens may be there. So we, in the coliform test or whatever test we are going to see now, we see for the presence of this E. coli bacteria. So depending upon that, we will see the test. So what we are doing here, we are checking for the non-pathogens to 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 verify if pathogens are there or not, because these non-pathogens live longer in water. That is why if non-pathogens are not present, then we can easily say that pathogens are also not present. Now there are some tests which we have to see. That is, first one is membrane filter technique. Then we have MPN test, that is most probable number test, which is important. And the last one is coliform index, which is not used nowadays, but one line definition we'll see. So these are the various tests. So let's see one by one, starting with membrane filter technique. Now in this test, what is done, a filter is taken. Now you filter the water from this, so bacteria will remain on that filter. Now after that, you put some nutrient on this filter. So because of that nutrient, this bacteria, single bacteria, if it is there, so it will develop a colony, many more bacteria will come, and this will become visible. So you can count the colonies of this bacteria under microscope, and we can find out if this coliform group is present or not. So what is the nutrient what we put here? So that is M-endo broth. So that is, this is enough for this one. We have to see in detail the MPN test, that is most probable number test. This test is done into 3 stages. First, presumptive test. Next is the confirmatory test. And the last one is complete test. So presumptive test is done to indicate the presence, that there is a possibility that coliform can be there. Now to confirm that possibility, confirmatory test is done simply to confirm the presence. And after the confirmatory test, if coliform is there, then staining techniques and microscopical analysis is done to actually find out the number of coliforms. So here we'll see the presumptive and confirmatory test. So for the presumptive test, for this test tubes are made of different dilution. So that is, let's say the smallest dilution would be 10 ml. So that is, you simply take the 10 ml of water sample for which we have to do the test. And for the higher dilution, what is done, you take 9 ml of sterilized water and you add 1 ml of water from this bottle of this test tube. That will give you 1 ml dilution. Now in the next test tube, for further dilution, you take again the 9 ml sterilized water and 1 ml water from this tube. So what will it give? It will give 0.1 ml dilution. And further it can go on, that is, if you again take 9 ml sample water here, that is sterilized water, and you add 1 ml from this bottle now, so that will give 0.01 ml dilution. So in the standard test, 5 tubes of 10 ml dilution and 5 tubes of 1 ml dilution and 5 tubes of 0.1 ml dilutions are used. And in these sample we add a broth, and that broth contains lactose and other things as well, lactose and other substances. Now this lactose, if lactose is used, so because it is a lactose fermenter we saw in the definition, so when we incubate these samples for at 35 degrees Celsius for 24 hours, so after that we look for the gas formation, and if gas is formed then it is a positive test, and gas is not formed, then we again keep it at 35 degrees Celsius for more 25 hours. So that will total of 48 hours, and at the end of 48 hours we check if gas is formed or not. If it is formed, then again it is a positive test, and if it is not formed, then it is a negative test. Now further test will be done, we'll go for the confirmatory test only when some of these test samples are giving positive test. So for the confirmatory test, we use these positive test samples and we take some of the water from this sample and we again add it to another tube, and so here green bile broth is used. Similar test tubes are prepared for all the test tubes which gave positive presumptive result, and these test tubes are incubated for 48 hours, and they are checked for, after 48 hours they are checked for gas formation, that is for CO2, and for acid, and if these gas and acid is present, then it is a positive confirmatory test, and if it is not present, then it is a negative test. So depending upon that, how many positive test tubes, how many test tubes gave positive result and how many gave negative, there are statistical methods available. So MPN, that is most probable number, is also a statistical method, and it gives you the most probable density of coliform group of, let's say, bacteria per 100 ml of water. So these results are available for different combination of test tubes. If we take 10 ml, 1 ml and 0.1 ml dilution, that is, if you take 5 test tubes of 10 ml, 5 test tubes of 1 ml dilution and 5 of 0.1 dilution, and out of these 5, let's say 2 gave positive confirmatory test. Out of these 1 ml dilution, none of the test tube gave positive result, that is 0 positive, and for 0.1, let's say 1 gave positive. So this combination 2, 0, 1, for this standard results are there. So you can read out this combination from a table and you can obtain the most probable number. So for this combination, it is, you can see from table, it is 7. That will be 7 coliform per 100 ml of water. So that is about the if it is asked for 10 ml, 1 ml and 0.1 ml dilution. Now let's say you are given 1 ml tubes and 0.1 and 0.001, sorry, 0.01. We take 3 successive dilutions and 5 are used for this, 5 and 5 here. And now if you get this combination, that is 2, 0, 1, and let's say for this combination we'll get the MPN as 7, but these dilutions are not our standard dilutions. Standard dilutions are 10, 1 and 0.1. So if it is lower than that, because it is 10 times more, then here we'll multiply it with 10 for actual value, that will be 70. 70 will be answer, not 7 here, because here the higher dilution is used, that is 10 times more. Whereas if, let's say, if you further increase the dilution, let's say starting with 0.1, 0.01 and 0.001, so in this case you will multiply it with 100, so that will give you 10, 1 and 0.1, which is our standard dilution.